Hello, hello, and ahoy, hoy. We are back, and I am super excited to be back with you guys. It's been quite a week, but a wonderful week to have been able to take off last week. It was much needed, extremely necessary, but I'm really happy to be here today. So, welcome. We made it. We are here once again. I swear, I'll get more sound effects, but I really like the claps. So far, the clapping sound effects have definitely come in really, really handy. That one and this one. Yeah. I don't have good jokes for it, but I like it. Let's do it again. Is that it? Or is it this one? Hold on. That one. That's the one. Okay. Yeah, that's the classic. That is a classic. Well, anyway, enough lollygagging. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, welcome. I am your host, Miss Tootie Odin. And I did take a week off this past week. Again, like I said, it was a little bit necessary to just be able to unplug a little bit. And now we're plugged back in. Speaking of plug back in, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight. So I'm really, really excited to give you a full review on a very ambitious film called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. It was actually a film that I saw by accident, really. I was doing a job out in the middle of LA. There was a lot of downtime, and instead of traveling back home from the job, we decided to kill time by watching a movie. The movie we wanted to watch initially was the new Scream movie. It wasn't out yet, so we ended up watching this one, and no regrets, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually a really, really good one. If you are new here, and even if you're not, do me a favor. If you like this episode, by the end of it, give it a thumbs up. That's really, really free to do, like super free. Like you can't get any freer. And if you really, really like it, do me a favor and sub to the channel. I've been dabbling between 50 and 51. I don't know what I do. I sneeze wrong, and somebody's like, never mind. And so like I'm just sitting here at 50. So my goal is to get at least 1K, 1,000 people out of this entire planet to appreciate what we do here on Tootie's Toy Box by the end of 2026. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. From 50 to 1,000, it isn't impossible. So I just need your help to do it. So that'd be great. So this past week, lots of work, lots of things. This episode was actually supposed to come out on Tuesday, but it didn't because on Tuesday I was at Disneyland celebrating my birthday. It is a yearly tradition. I'm not a Disney adult. Okay, I'm an adult who loves Disney. All right, I'm not one of the weirdos, although I am weird. Maybe I am. I don't know. Anyway, this was last year's. This is this year's. So the guy who gave me this year's was not enthused that he was giving an adult a pin. I don't know what that means, but like maybe he's just really, really over Disney adults. I would be for sure. I get it, I guess. But yeah, he was like, I don't want to give you one. And like twice he was like, happy birthday. Like he gave it to me and he was just like really like NPC mode. Really, really weird, but fun. I had the best time nonetheless. So tonight, yes, good luck, have fun, don't die. A film that was released February 13th, 2026. It's starring Sam Rockwell, who's obviously the eccentric main character of the film. Haley Lou Richardson, who is an unfamiliar name to me. Juno Temple, another unfamiliar name to me. I'm not really sure what other works they have worked on, other films. Michael Pena, I think a lot of us know Michael Pena, especially Marvel fans. Zazie Beetz, same thing. I know her from Atlanta, first and foremost, before any comic book series or movies that she's been in. So these are the main cast of this film. There are others, but these are the main that are in the movie. So the synopsis. Let's go with the synopsis. An eccentric time traveler. This is my own words. I try to not use AI so much. So I try to write things in my own words. I'm a writer, so why would I rely on something else to do the job that I know how to do? An eccentric time traveler comes to present-day Los Angeles in search for a team of regular citizens to help him defeat a dangerous AI future set to destroy humanity. This movie was directed by Gore Verbinski, who directed, I think, all of the pirate films. For sure, the first two. For sure, the first one. But good movies, This movie is nothing like that, by the way. There's not a single pirate in this film. I was slightly disappointed, but it's still a good movie nonetheless. A lot of satire, lots of satire in this film. A lot of it, actually, a lot of it really dark, and we'll get there, but a lot of it really dark satire. Let's pull up the Chiz app. See who's here. Okay, what's up, Jojo? All right, so I did actually see this movie with Jojo. He is my partner in crime in event production. We work for an event production company. So we set up stages, we set up sound, we set up lighting, we set up all kinds of fun things. And we happen to have been doing a job in LA, and we decided to watch this movie. So I'm glad you liked it. Actually, I'm glad you weren't bored by it, and it's subject matter. So yay, that was a good time. Oh, commercial. Don't you guys miss that? Don't you guys miss commercials and us having to dodge them? Good for us. All right. So yeah, satire and modern technology, digital dependency, brain rot. I, for one, am a huge fan of brain rot stuff because it's just funny. The things, the internet shit that internet people come up with, sometimes it's like, how did you come up with that? Where did it come from? And a lot of times, you know, in its own right, there's some genius involved in a lot of the brain rot. There's also not. There's also tons of brain rot that is absolute, just exactly that, just brain rot. But I consider all of it. I consider anything that doesn't add value to your life, add value to your time, teaches you something, is in fact brain rot, doom scrolling. So yeah, this movie was made with a $23 million budget. That is nothing in Hollywood. That is a very small budget for a very pretty damn good movie, actually. I kind of would think it would be, it would have been made with at least 70 million. I mean, like, that's the least. But 23 million is an insane budget to work with for a movie such as this one, with the actors that it actually has, especially Sam Rockwell. It has a current 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. So there's that. So it's actually a really good movie. It's actually a really good, really freaking weird movie. If you've seen the trailer for it, the trailer does not do it justice whatsoever. It's wild. It's wild. Cheers, by the way. The movie actually starts out in a Norms, of all places. The time traveler goes. Oh, hold on. There we go. It turns out it wasn't so random. Hold on, you'll get me back right now. All right, cool. It wasn't a random coincidence at all. In fact, he's been there several times before with the same several people. And I'm going to go ahead and play the opening scene for you now. Now, I was only able to get 2 movie clips for you guys throughout the movie. The rest are going to be images, but we're going to work through it. It's going to be just fine. So let's share screen real quick. Willy quick. And here is the opening scene to Good Luck, Have Fun. Well, opening-ish scene to Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
This is my 117th time in the Steiner doing this exact speech. Can you imagine that? 117 times I've tried to get through to all of you. It's kind of like your favorite movie, Jim Groundhog's Day. That's your favorite movie, isn't it, Jim? Yeah?
Yeah. How did you?
I have experienced this night over and over again, each time with a different combination of people in the Steiner. And every time we have failed, I have held some of you in my arms and watched the very life flicker from your eyes. Some of you, I even consider family. I've done this so many times. I know some of you better than you know yourselves. Hey, Nancy Delaney and Charles Roberts, you're on your first date. Charles thought Norms was the right call.
So in that scene, he's basically trying to prove to them that he already knows who they are. He knows that he's seen them before. And you know, obviously they have no clue. They're not. It's not like this is their version of repeat. They're not on repeat the way he is. There we go. They're not on repeat the way he is. He's been there, like he said, 110 times before, looking for a different combination of people. He'll try certain combinations of people in that diner, and they just don't work out. So he goes in there this one other time, finds another group of 5 or 6 people that he needs to take with him, and little by little he does trial and error. So in this one he does pick some of the same people that he's picked before, and he also picks brand new people that he's never even tried, because he has his reasons for not trying to pick them. Again, it almost reminds me of a video game, almost like a Fallout, or like a God of War puzzle, where you have to keep trying because you're going to go back and die. You got to go back and die in order to try again. And you have to figure out something else. And then if that doesn't work out, you die. And then you go back and you have to figure something else. And then, it just kind of had that, has that video game puzzle vibe, in my opinion, which I thought was pretty brilliant. So he finally picks out his final 6 for this mission. And the mission is to basically find a 9-year-old boy who is basically God, the God of AI. And he's constantly writing code and changing things so much and consuming himself so much with this AI that he's actually, he's turning it into something that is doomed to fail humanity. Now, they don't go into the specifics as to what the danger is, outside of the implied danger that's already happening around them. So, throughout this movie, the 6 people that he chooses, Sam Rockwell and these 4 plus 2 others, and I didn't get their names, you kind of delve into some of their backstory stories. For instance, Michael Pena and Zazie Beetz, they're both teachers in a high school. Zazie Beetz, a prominent teacher who's got tenure there, I believe, and Michael Pena, who is substituting. He's a substitute teacher. And it happens to be his first day of teaching that same afternoon, but earlier in the afternoon. So a lot of this movie goes back and tells you just a tiny introduction of some of these people. And we'll get into a few of them. I have another video for you here of Michael Pena and Zazie Beetz. They start to piece together certain things as to how strange things are being in the high school. Michael Pena has tons of questions, and he asks Zazie, so where's this teacher? So where's the principal? So where is this? Where's that? And it turns out they're like, oh yeah, well, they're on sabbatical. Oh, no, don't worry about it. They're on sabbatical. They'll be back soon. And he's wondering why, well, how the hell are all these teachers on vacation? How are they taking a sabbatical right now during the school year? So either way, he goes into his classroom, a bunch of high school kids. I'm guessing like maybe juniors, seniors in high school. And as he's introducing himself, and as he's trying to get the kids to engage with him, he's realizing it's impossible because they're all on their phones. None of them look up from their phones. They're extremely distracted. They're just scrolling away, like looking at this and that, workout videos, come get ready with me, makeup tutorials, the works, all the stuff that we see on our own Instagrams and our own TikToks and our own this and that. So he's kind of like, he's very annoyed by it, for one. And he asked the kids, dude, don't you guys like have rules? Like, isn't there rules for you guys to like not have your phone out right now? And they don't answer him. They completely ignore him. So he walks up to this one student, and he looks down at her phone, and he's noticing what she's scrolling through, and something inside of him makes him want to touch her phone. So he goes towards her phone, and he pushes just slightly, ever so slightly, and it just swipes up just very gently, and it swipes up to this triangle, and it's this purple triangle. And as soon as that purple triangle hits her screen, every single one of those teenager screens turns to that purple triangle, and suddenly they're more hypnotized than they were before, and just watching their own phones do their own thing. As that happens, they turn their attention to Michael Pena. Every single one of them at the same exact time slowly look at him, almost like they're upset with him for disrupting their brain rot, disrupting their doom scrolling on their phone. So this is sort of what happens next. And again, this is just one day out of two out of 2 of these characters who he happens to choose to go on this mission with him. Now, every single one of these characters does have their own story, and we do go through a couple of the stories, and we are going to go through them together here. And I'm going to try. There's literally probably only one spoiler in this movie, and I'm not going to spoil it, just in case you guys want to see it. And I highly encourage you guys to see it. So let's share screen once again. I'm going to move on to the next. There we are. Oh, I have to share the screen. I'm sorry, I'm new here. Hold on. And show on stream. Here we go.
I did something bad. I think I'm in trouble.
What did you do?
I touched one of their phones.
You did what?
The images were hypnotic. They were drawing me in. And they're just random flashing images. And on each one of their phones, the exact same images. I think there's something sinister going on. I think that the teachers are disappearing. And I think the students have something to do with it. Also, high school teachers don't go on sabbatical. I checked it out.
Mark, do you know how paranoid you sound right now?
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, but can you just do the right thing for me? For us, just once, Mark, I swear if I lose this job because you touched a kid's phone.
Janet, I know things aren't great between us right now. And I know I fucked up my last 6 jobs. But I'm not being paranoid.
I cannot believe this is happening.
I need us to be a team right now, please. Please.
All right. So as you guys saw there, the teenagers are starting to attack them. Zazie and Michael Pena actually put together that it was the teenagers somehow were killing the teachers or getting rid of the teachers in a sense that were, I guess, disrupting them. I'm not really sure what the story is, but they eventually put 2 and 2 together that the reason why the teachers are gone and the reason why the teachers are disappearing is because the students are making them disappear one way or another. So it's kind of creepy the way it is, and it's a little Black Mirror. In fact, a lot of this movie was very Black Mirror, if I'm being really honest. I've seen the entire Black Mirror series. Very good, very creepy. Some of the episodes are boring as hell, but most of the series was absolutely interesting, especially a lot of the episodes that bring irony to the idea of the reliance of technology. And we're actually going to get into that here. For instance, one of the other characters that Sam Rockwell picks is a mother, and this mother, this is actually one of the darker parts of the movie. Is there is a character who loses her son to a school shooting, but the way it happens, I closed out my complete file like an idiot. Hold on one second. Shit. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Let me open this real quick. There we go. This way I can share with you guys more of what I want to share with you guys. So the way they go about talking about school shootings is actually really, really dark. So this woman here loses her son to a school shooting. I'm assuming the same school that Michael Pena and Zazie Beetz work at. So she loses her son, but after she loses her son, she's completely devastated. She ends up going to the hospital, and there's a nurse, and there's 3 other mothers who have also lost their children to school shootings. And you can hear them talking to themselves as she's sitting there just absolutely frozen and distraught. And you can overhear them talking to each other about, maybe I'll just go tomorrow. I don't want to sit in an hour and a half of traffic, and just going on and on about just the most superficial bullshit. And then the nurse walks by and she says, I'm going to come back and get you in a couple minutes. And then, the lady's like, oh, okay. So she's like, just zoned out, not really there. So the ladies notice her, or the other mothers notice her, and they walk up to her and they say, oh, is this your first time? And she's like, first time for what? And she's like, first time, is this your first son, your first loss? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, oh, one of them's like, oh, this is my 4th. And the other one's like, oh, this is my 2nd. They're kind of just like, ha 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 about it. They hand her a business card And the business card just has a phone number and I think a city or something. I don't know, but or a phone number, maybe an address, like Men in Black, right? So they hand it to her. She's like, they're like, just go here and they'll take care of you. They'll take care of you, we promise. But just let her, just go tomorrow so that you don't have to sit in traffic. So they're like that, and she's kind of like lost, like, what the fuck? Why are they acting like this? So she does the next day. She gets the card. She goes there, and it turns out it's a facility that can clone children. It's a facility that can clone people. So she does end up getting talked into it. Excuse me. She does end up getting talked into cloning her son. Commercial. As that happens, she realizes quickly that this is not my son. I don't know why I did this and that. They even make reference to the idea of a government funded clone. If your child was killed in a public school, the government can help you with aid in your clone type shit, which is just creepy, absolutely just disgusting. And it's supposed to make you laugh. It's supposed to be like, right? It's supposed to be satire. It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be like, this is ridiculous. But in my opinion, it's not ridiculous because it doesn't seem that far-fetched. There's way too many TV shows, way too many, all the way back to Twilight Zone, right? So it's since the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, this idea of being able to clone a dead loved one has been around. There isn't anything to suggest that with the technology the way it is today, that actually can't happen. I actually believe it can happen, and it probably has happened in many instances. So it's as funny as this idea is. Oh, your kid died. Just make another one. The idea of that being a thing is very real and very dark, actually. So she ends up getting this device. She goes to this meet and greet of other parents who've lost their children, and she runs into these parents, and they're like, oh, we cloned her again. And this time we made her Muslim to have a little fun with it. So they're just having fun. They're just experimenting now with these toys. They're not even their children anymore. They're far from the identity that they lost in the first place. So, the parents, I don't know if this is a way of grieving. I don't know if they just took a page out of Erica Kirk's book when it comes to grief. But none of these people seem very unhappy. They all seem extremely just going about their day, going about their business after a very tragic school shooting. So she's very lost. She doesn't like what's going on. She's very confused and just it's happening so fast. She doesn't know what to do with it. So this gentleman comes up to her and he says, here, I have this blah, blah, blah. And I don't know what the hell he called it, but it's this device. It's a cartridge. It kind of almost looks like my charger. It almost looks like this, actually. He hands her a cartridge and he says, this is the realest thing that you'll ever have when it comes to your child. Plug it in and use it, etc., etc. So she takes it from him. He disappears rather quickly. And from that point on, she realizes she can have him with her the entire time. And we learn, in fact, that it's her son that convinces her, the mother, to go with Sam Rockwell. He's in her ear. I think she has him as an earpiece. And he says, hey, mom, go with him. And there's certain things that he knows because he's now a computer. There's certain things that he knows that helps them get through their mission to the point where Sam Rockwell doesn't trust her. So there's a little bit of that going on. Like, how do you know? How did you know this? Who are you talking to? Who are you working for? And it's one of those situations. So that is her background story there. And it's quite fascinating, actually, the way they do it. Again, fascinating, but extremely dark. The next person I wanted to talk to you about is the princess. Now, her story is rather tragic, just as tragic, very interesting. A very young girl who is allergic to technology, basically. She's allergic to cell phones. She's allergic to DSs, anything that's technological and digital, she cannot handle. Immediately, she starts getting fainty, her nose starts to bleed, and she just can't handle it. So instead of taking up a career in technology, where basically anything that you do, if you're working a regular 9 to 5, you are probably working with computers, which she cannot do. So she takes up a job doing children's parties. For the most part, I mean, at least in this universe, for the most part, children don't have devices of their own, so she feels safe enough to work with them. Now, on occasion, more and more, as she continues these birthday parties, there's at least one, two, or three kids that have these devices, which makes her job which starts to make her job really hard to do. There's one scene where she's bringing the birthday cake to the birthday girl. It's a princess, and she tells her make a wish, and she does the thing with the wand, and her nose just starts to bleed all over the birthday cake. All the kids are horrified with it, and it becomes a whole thing. So she decides. She leaves. She obviously leaves that party early because she has traumatized the children, and before she leaves, off in the distance, she sees the pizza boy. And the father of the party walks up to the pizza boy. And he's like, "You were late. I can't believe how late you were, blah, blah, blah." And then the father looks down because the kid's delivering pizzas on a moped. And he looks down and he sees a Thomas guide. Now, if you don't know what a Thomas guide is, it's the original MapQuest. It's the original Google Maps. It's an actual giant, like 2-inch page book that has map after map after map of every street you can think of. In the United States, in the state of California, there's different ones for different regions and areas, but it has every street you can think of that's actually able to be mapped out in it. So she notices that dude who's kind of cute, right? She notices that he has a Thomas guide, and she's like, "Oh my God, he's off the grid. He's off the grid like I'm off the grid." Immediately, she notices him. He notices her. They catch eyes. She leaves the party, and they ride off on his motorcycle or moped together, and thus developing a love. They fall in love with each other. She appreciates that he's off the grid because it's almost like a meant to be thing. What happens next is, they're together for a while. They have a wonderful relationship. It seems pretty solid. But in all of that, he, for some reason, there's no explanation there, but for some reason he decides, I want to try the virtual world. I want to try something. So one day they wake up. She asks him to watch the sunset with her, or sunrise rather. She asks him to watch the sunrise with her, and he does. They go back inside. They get down. They do it, and then he kind of tells her, hey, I think I'm kind of ready for a kid. Would you want to have a kid? And she's like, well, you want to have a kid? Blah, blah, blah. That's weird. And then they talk about it, and then she considers it, and like, oh, okay. So that conversation happens the way you would think it would in a Hollywood movie. But then suddenly there's a knock on the door, and they get up. There's nobody at the door, but there's a package on the floor. And she's like, that's weird. Did you order something? And he says, no, I didn't order anything. So they bring it in, they open the box, and it's a VR headset. It's one of these things that goes boop right around your head and blah, blah, blah. So she's like, dude, you know how I feel about these. And, he's like, oh, yeah, no, I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to do it while you're gone. If you're in the other room, it shouldn't bother you, blah, blah, blah. So he's trying to excuse himself from having to deprive himself from the virtual world. A few days after, she realizes that he's just obsessed with it. He won't take it off. And one day she's going to work, and she's like avoiding him. And when she walks out, before she walks out the door, he tells her, okay, good luck, have fun, don't die. And she's like, excuse me? And he's like, oh, that's just a thing we say. That's how we say hello, and that's how we say goodbye. And in truth, just so you guys know, sidebar, good luck, have fun, don't die is a common greeting in gaming and a common farewell in the military. It's called a grim, I forgot what it's called. Anyway, in military, it does have a name, and it seems to be a thing that they did and do say in the military. Good luck, have fun, don't die. Like dark humor. It's a dark humor thing that they say. So that's what this movie is referencing with that being the title. Anyway, so he tells her, okay, good luck, have fun, don't die. And she's like totally off put by that. She's like, oh God, that's gross. So she leaves. She goes to work as a princess. She comes back home that night, and he's finally off the VR, finally off of it. And he's like, I have something to tell you. It's very important, but please, babe, come sit down. He has flowers for her. He made dinner. They both sit down to eat dinner, and he tells her, I have decided that I'm going to leave you and go into that world forever. She begs him and she's like, why would you do this? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, I gotta go. I'm sorry. There's a taxi waiting for me downstairs. I gotta get out of here. So between I made you dinner and I love you forever and I'm sorry to walking out the door because there's something downstairs waiting for him to take him into the virtual world forever where he just can get lost. And that's what happens. They break up. Obviously, that's the story of them. That's where at the end of the night, she ends up in a diner by herself. She ends up at the diner where she meets up with Sam Rockwell and the rest of the team. So they all get together. They start on their missions. They start walking through these things. They start escaping certain things. They finally, through there's also the scene of two dudes in pig masks that are chasing them. Now, there's no explanation for them outside of somebody paid them to get rid of Sam Rockwell's character. Somebody paid them. And there's really no explanation. The AI kid didn't do it. Like nobody knows. Nobody knows how they're getting paid to get this done. But all throughout the movie, these guys are chasing them until they eventually do die. One through his own negligence and the other because he was killed. So they're being chased throughout this entire scene. Finally they reach the house where the 9-year-old lives, and they have to figure out what to do next. And then so they start having this conversation, and Sam Rockwell's like, yeah, no, we've reached this point before, and sorry, it went the other way. We've reached this point before, and yeah, we've all lost. Like we have done this many times, and it's been different scenarios each time. So there's no way to figure out how we're gonna win this. We just have to figure out how to win this. So they're all making suggestions. What if the next thing to attack us is a bunch of kittens? What if the next thing to attack us is a pug? What if the next? So they start throwing out these different scenarios, and he's like, yeah, it's probably not going to be any of those things. You guys need to wake up and just be prepared for what's going to happen. So they do. They start armoring up in this random house next to the house where the little boy lives. They all have these funky helmets on. One has a football helmet. One has this. What are those helmets with the horns on them, like the opera, the one that Bugs Bunny wore in the opera? So they all have these silly costumes on, full of armor. It's just armored stuff. And it turns out the things that were attacking them, the things that the AI code was willing to use. One was the brain rot teenagers, who again eventually look very zombie-like. As you can see, the crew is standing on top of the roof of the house that they took over. And there's tons of teenagers below them, ready and willing to eat them alive, essentially. You see them all with their phones in their hands, their phones directing them where to go, what to do, how to perceive what's going on. And one of the other attackers is an AI cat. I could not get good pictures of this AI cat, bro. The cat was, okay, all right. So the cat had this head that was just a regular cat head. The neck was a whole shitload of cats. The body was the body of a horse, hooves of a horse, and it was just odd. And so the cat, giant ass thing, bigger than the house is, I would say maybe 50 feet tall, right? So a 50-foot tall cat made of cats and horse. So yeah, it's attacking, but it's not necessarily there to attack our protagonists. It's there to attack anything that's there, and it's not really attacking. It's kind of just eating them as they go. And the kids are mindless. They're right there like taking selfies with it, trying to get in the moment and whatnot. They have no idea what the hell's going on. They just know what they want. They want good content. They want to be in the scene, right? They want clout, as it were. So the cat starts eating the kids and this and that. When the cat throws up, how cats do hairballs and stuff, when it eventually throws up, it starts throwing up glitter, like the meme, like the cat meme. Glitter comes out of it. It's wild. It's very wild. It's a wild scene. So this is it. So they're getting attacked, and eventually, finally, they end up. I'm gonna stop sharing. Eventually, finally, they do end up meeting up with the boy. They end up finally meeting the kid, and they've never gotten this far. And Sam Rockwell makes it known that they've never gotten this far before. So he doesn't really know what to do. He doesn't really know the next move. He doesn't know how to go about it. And so they try to approach him carefully. They approach this kid extremely carefully. Hold on. There we go. And there he is. As they're approaching him, you know, there's a scene where he's sitting there and he's doing his thing with the AI, and he's typing. You see his keyboard there. He's typing constantly. He's just looking into this abyss, and he's typing. He's making things happen, and he's structuring things and whatnot. He has a big ass bag of Cheeto Puffs on the side of him, and he's eating them, and his mouth is full of orange shit and whatnot. Now, this may seem very unrealistic to you guys. The most unrealistic thing in that entire scene, sidebar, the most unrealistic thing in that entire scene is the chip bag, the Cheeto Puffs is a full ass bag of Cheeto Puffs. It's like filled to the top with Cheeto Puffs, right? You know, like I'm just saying, our chip bags don't come full. They come half full. They come like halfway. And as a fat, I don't appreciate that. So I don't appreciate the unrealistic idea that I can open a bag of chips and it will be filled with chips. Don't do that, Hollywood. Not cool. Anyway, I digress. So he's there, he's coding, he's this and that. And eventually he figures out that they're there. Actually, there's this funny scene where they sock him in the face to stop him, and they knock him out. And then they feel really bad about it. So they're like trying to wake him back up and put him back on the keyboard and whatnot. It's pretty funny, actually. It's actually really hilarious. But yeah, so the kid comes back. He eventually figures out what's going on. He figures out that they're trying to stop him from doing what he's doing. And then, you know, he gets upset. He starts to capture them. All of the cables that he's sitting on top of start to move around. And eventually they are all, let me find it. There it is. Eventually they do get captured. A bunch of nuts and bolts and all kinds of computer things start to whip around, and then eventually they're somehow magnetized to the wall, and there's all kinds of cables that are attaching to them, and it looks like they're about to be defeated. And there are all kinds of things that are coming to life. All kinds of AI is going haywire. All he has to do is write the code, and there it is. This stabby guy here, he's one of the things that comes to life, and he does eventually start to kill Sam Rockwell. He starts to stab him in the heart several times. It's fucking wild. While this is happening, our hero, the princess, she doesn't have a choice but to go in. Find it. I hate that I have them out of order. She doesn't have a choice but to go in and actually figure out how to fight this guy. What ends up happening is she grabs the box that the mom's son is in. She grabs the box that he's in, and she fights her ass off to actually plug it in. And for some reason, that's the thing that decodes everything and stops everything from happening. But before that happens, she ends up being sucked into the AI world, and she is actually able to meet up with the kid. I wish I was able to find at least imagery of the scene. I couldn't even find that. I would have loved to have found his speech, because the child eventually does speak, and he speaks this speech that's so fucking terrifying and so profound at the same time, almost literally predicting what we are about to face ourselves in reality, not movie wise. I'm talking about like now, what we are about to face within the next 25 to 50 years. It's quite telling, actually, the way he is speaking to her. And he starts to tell her, I'm offering you everything. I'm offering you everything you could ever want, all technology, all knowledge at your fingertips. And all you have to do is accept it. And I promise you guys will be okay. And this and that. And so she comes back and rebuttals with him. No, none of this is real. It's not real. What you're offering isn't real. It's the same conversation that she had with her boyfriend before he tried to leave her for the virtual world. She said, you're going to leave this for something that isn't real. So she knew and knows exactly what she's talking about. This is why this is partly why she was so okay with being off the grid, because she knew she wasn't missing out on anything that was real. She was fine with it. So yes, eventually she plugs it in, everything stops, and life sort of goes back to normal. There is a spoiler at the end. I'm not going to do it. I really want you guys to see the movie. I spoil it for you personally. If you guys want leave a comment, follow my Instagram, and then find me, and then I'll let you know what it is. But it's very prominent to the end of the story, actually, and why it actually, the entire thing comes full circle. It's so good. So the movie ends with everything seemingly being okay. They're sitting there. They're right outside the 9-year-old's house. The 9-year-old is outside like a normal kid, like, oh, what happened? Blah, blah, blah. Everybody starts to gather around. The teenagers are back to normal, walking through the neighborhood, scrolling on their phones, but walking through the neighborhood and being more coherent. Somehow mom gets to reunite with her son, the real one, and he's not doing weird shit anymore. He's just a normal kid who's just there. And mom, oh, your mom, where are you? I miss you. And it's just one of those things. But when the princess comes to and she realizes, wait a minute, none of this, what's going on? Like it still seemed very fake and very uncanny valley to her. And that's basically how it ends. It's very Twilight Zone and very Black Mirror, because it ends with her being strapped down and taken into an ambulance. Screaming and shouting, none of this is real. It's not real. None of it is real. And everybody's looking at her like, oh no, she's gone crazy. As opposed to remembering what they just got done going through. Everything, they were so ready for everything to be back to normal. They had convinced themselves that this is exactly how life is supposed to be. Oh, there's no giant cat with glitter, so I guess we're okay. There's no teenagers trying to kill us through their phones. I guess we're okay. So everybody seems to be okay with the reality that they're currently in, except for her, because she still knows it to be fake. And that's basically how the movie ends. Basically, the movie is one big giant Twilight Zone episode. A really, really good one. So that's it. So that's the end of the movie. It's about 2 hours, 15 minutes long. Well worth every second, well worth every minute. But man, it takes you for a ride. And again, there's one big spoiler that I'm not going to do, because that's not fair. That's not fair to do it for people who want to see it. I would love to. Actually, I would love to spoil it because it ends it so well. But either way, the ending does end. It does end that way. I'm going to give this movie probably a good 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 what? I don't know. 8 out of 10 cell phones. I don't know. But it was really good. It was so good, you guys, that it actually made me think twice about my phone. It actually made me think twice to like want to pick it up. It was very disturbing walking out of that movie theater and realizing that I'm very much attached to my phone, more so than I should be, very much attached to a reality that doesn't actually exist. The reality of 2D Odin doesn't really exist. It's not real. And it's something that I had to like come to terms with again, bringing me back down to reality, because this right here is as much as it is me, it's a character. That's what AI is. As much as realistic as it is, it's not. It's not. This isn't tangible. You can't touch me through this screen. You don't know me personally. You don't know you don't know, do I take a shit? You don't know if I do or not. You know what I mean? Like this person here, 2D Odin, does not take a shit. And you'll believe it. 2D Odin doesn't shit, guys. Breaking news. Believe that. But that's how it works, is it not? That's how AI works. It blurs the lines between reality and what's the other word? Reality and fantasy. It blurs the lines big time, especially now with deep fakes and everything else that's going on with the Epstein files and the denial to believe certain videos and certain pictures, like, oh no, that's AI generated and this and that. And there's no way to know. There's no way to know what's AI generated and what's not anymore, pretty much. And that's I think that was the dangerous, terrifying reality that Sam Rockwell was trying to prevent. And my hope and prayer is that we actually have somebody in reality to do that for us, because if not, we're going to have to do that for ourselves. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much. That was my review of Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please, once again, do me a favor and like this video. It's helpful. It's free. Subscribe if you like what we do. There's plenty of things that we do on this channel besides this. I do love to build toys. I do love to build model kits. There's a fresh one in the works. I'm still not going to push the Gundam. I'm not ready for that yet. I do have one more for you guys before we push the Gundam, and I will be announcing the build of that soon enough anyway. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys once again next week, Tuesday evening, 8 p.m. Have a good night.